Assalamu alaikum everyone. This is Fiza and today our session is going to be on the topic as an introduction to the wonders of JavaScript. So with us as guests we have Shah, Fahad and Zahoor Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum Fahad and Assalamu alaikum Zahoor.
Walaikum
You're welcome,
Assalam.
Salam.
I hope you are both okay.
Alhamdulillah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so I'm going to ask you first if one of you give us the basic understanding of what is JavaScript.
Yeah, no, I will start. JavaScript is basically a scripting language that we use on the client side mostly as it started, but now JavaScript is evolving on the server side as well. So, server side framework, we have a Node.js, uh, Nest.js, Next we are using as a server side scripting language. Those are running on V8 engine based on C. So basically, JavaScript is a functional or scripting language, but now it is involving on server side as well. So JavaScript we are using mostly on adding interactivity to the web pages. तो बेसिकली जो हम नॉर्मली जो बिगनर है उसको एच टी एम एल सी एस एस और फिर जावास्क्रिप्ट में जाना पड़ता है तो डेफिनेटली ये स्टार्ट करने के लिए इजी टू अंडरस्टैंड है उसका सिंटैक्स है दूसरा उसमें जो है इतनी वो प्रोग्रामिंग के जो कॉन्सेप्ट हैं बेसिकली लाइक ऑब्जेक्ट ओरिएंटेड दैट इज नॉट हार्डली यू हैव टू गो थ्रू दिट to get your work done. So normally as a function based language you want to learn that is easy to understand, you can grip your logic it, then you can go with it. Yeah.
Right.
If अगर
So
साथ भाई कुछ उसमें ऐड करना चाहें फर्दर तो प्लीज.
yes, please, sure, Fahad, if you would like to add something.
Yeah, I think Zahoor went rightly with that. So it's a basically started as a very basic scripting language, and in the beginning you could work only on the client side with it. But if we talk about JavaScript today, there's hardly any domain where you won't be using or JavaScript won't be available. So, and how is that become possible? We will be talking throughout this conversation.
Yeah,
Right.
good.
So Fahad, could you tell me that how is JavaScript different from other languages?
Okay, so to start with, you have to understand like what different languages are offering. So when JavaScript came into being, it was basically to perform, you can say DOM actions into your browsers, and it was a very it was a very specific client side language. It does not has any use case apart from that, but with time your browsers became very fast, your internet connections became very good, your systems computations enhanced very effectively. So with this JavaScript usage also become very it kept on growing very well. In fact, it kept on growing exponentially. So the things JavaScript can do today, if you compare it with the things JavaScript used to do, it's very, the scope is very big, the domain is very big. Now you can perform any, in fact, most of the interactive client side UIs, creating all the user experiences, behaviors, interactions. Giving the real power to your HTML and your CSS that comes with the help of JavaScript. You can execute previously you can execute very simple applications in your browsers, but now that your browsers are very smart, very efficient, you can execute very big applications. There are some AI applications that you can run offline in your browsers. So JavaScript has been playing a big role there. And just like Zahoor mentioned, sorry, so you can now run JavaScript at your server as well. So it's not now restricted to the client side. And even if at the server side, it comes with too many different offerings. They are providing server side rendering. They are providing API hosting. Like you can create API servers in any other languages like Java or
Yes.
.NET. Now you can do that with JavaScript as well. It's now available in the couple of AI frameworks as well. You will find some blockchain frameworks that are being written with the JavaScript and offering the integrations with any JavaScript library available out there. So yeah, that would be my answer to this.
Right. Okay. So Zahoor, this question is for you. What are some common use cases for JavaScript?
JavaScript basically जो स्टार्ट में यूज़ हो रही थी वो तो वेब पेजेस के लिए यूज़ हो रही थी, लेकिन अब के दौर में जावास्क्रिप्ट मोबाइल एप्लीकेशन डेवलपमेंट के लिए भी यूज़ हो रही है, वेब एप्लीकेशन के लिए भी यूज़ हो रही है, और अगर आप डेस्कटॉप एप्लीकेशन बनाना चाहें तो भी आप जावास्क्रिप्ट use कर सकते हैं. So basically JavaScript is a one language. Like if you take the React and the React Native, then React you can use it for web application that is being developed by Facebook, and it's really React that is being used by a lot of companies also, and mobile application that you can use it React Native. It's the same, like you get an enhanced experience with it as compared to if you are going to dig out through Java, that is only solely for Android application, but React Native that will be working for an Android and iOS both. So it's a cross platform as well, and it gives you easy, like you know JavaScript already, then definitely React Native won't be even difficult to understand for the beginner. Yeah. And if you take for Angular, that is also JavaScript framework, then you can go for Cardova and Ionic for mobile apps development. And like if you take the VueJs framework, now it's Vue 3 is coming, and they also have the Vue native. That one you can also use for mobile application development. So definitely JavaScript can be used in all application, in all uh, your logic or any kind of application that you want to build, whether it's an e-commerce application or whether it's an AI application, as Fahad mentioned, then all kinds sorts of application you just need to apply your set of engineering roles, and you have to divide and conquer your application and your target, and you can achieve the same thing that you can achieve with Java, C Sharp, or Python. That's it from my side.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
So Fahad, I would like to ask you, what do you think? How can we use JavaScript to make a website more interactive?
Okay, so this is what basically JavaScript provides. This is what JavaScript came into being. So if you are a very beginner level person who have not yet explored JavaScript or any other language yet, so I would say you can start with, you can just simply go to the w3schools.com, and you can find a simple JavaScript tutorial there, and you can go to your browser console, and you can just start playing with the JavaScript there, and you'll find all sort of functionality which is specifically related to this. You'll be getting some sorry about that. Just
It's okay.
So specifically related to DOM, you will fetch some elements from DOM. You can update them, you can add them, you can create them. So basically, even if you are going to be a JavaScript developer or web developer in future, so you should learn the browser as well. So you will be working
Yeah.
a lot with the browsers, with the browser consoles. How is the debugging happening? In fact, these frameworks that we work with, they are eventually doing this same thing. If you are going to start with JavaScript, just simply check a W3 Schools tutorial and see how it's getting the DOM elements, how it's creating, how it's updating its view, how it's adding interactivity to it, how they behave when a button is clicked or there's some text typed in an input box. Then there are some actions associated to it. What happens when you are clicking? What happens if you are focusing, hovering it onto an element, hovering out
Yeah.
from an element? So this, we would say, is the very basic, is the fundamental start with the JavaScript. But as you'll move ahead, you will find these frameworks or the libraries like Zahoor mentioned, the Angular, React, or Vue. So these applications are also providing the same functionality in a much smarter way, because when your application is growing, there are a lot of things you have to consider. So with the help of these frameworks, they take care of a lot of things like maintaining your code when it's growing, and
Yes.
building your code. So, and with that, they provide you to do this, exactly this thing, that adding interactivity in your applications. So basically, you can simply start with the JavaScript thing, learn about its concepts, the fundamentals, play it around in the browser, and then you can start exploring these frameworks. You will find that these frameworks behind the scenes are providing you the same functionality, but in a much richer way, or enhanced ways, optimized ways. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So Zahoor, I would like to ask this question to you. How can JavaScript be used to manipulate DOM or document object model?
Yeah, document object model like these framework basically Angular, React, or any other framework. If you take, they are using the diffing algorithm to detect the changes in the data object model that is happening on the client side. So it is much faster to re-render the page only the part that is being changed. Instead, you are gonna refresh your whole application or context or the view that you have on the front page on the client side. But due to the diffing algorithm, it is really easy and faster the how the changes are being merged to the client side. So DOM manipulation or interactivity or creating effects, all these things you can do with the JavaScript.
Okay, okay. So, Fahad, what are some popular JavaScript libraries and frameworks?
I think you are muted, Fahad.
Uh,
Okay, thank you. So
should
yeah,
I repeat
I'm
my
saying
question?
no, I get the question. So I'm
Okay,
saying
okay.
that we have already mentioned few names, the Hood mentioned, and it's like the most widely used, and
Yeah,
you can say are and the with the most adoption rate currently are the React JS. Then we have Angular JS. Then we have VueJs. Then we have Svelte and other kits coming up
yeah,
very rapidly as well, because that's what happened in the JavaScript ecosystem. So but you could count on these three as of today, that these are the most widely adopted. And being widely adopted, it has its advantages. Uski एक community होती है, it's easier to find things in its scope. Alternatively, अगर आप कोई ऐसा framework pick कर लेते हैं जो relatively newer है या it's not that widely adopted, so you might find a little bit difficult to search things along its ecosystem. But अगर आप इसको थोड़ा सा और extend करें, so these days the server side rendering or uh, part is very much in. So there are some frameworks like for React, I think it's Next.js. With
yeah,
Angular, you have the Angular Universal, and with Vue.js, you have the Next.js. They are
next.
very comprehensive and very specifically designed frameworks to achieve the server-side rendering for optimized search engines. And then if you take it to the backend side, to the server side, वहाँ पे भी एक बहुत बड़ा pool है available. If you talk about the run times, there you have Node.js, there you have these is Dino. And if you expand it, there are some frameworks like Nest, which is very much in these days. But I'd like to add here that just like I answered in the previous question. So if you know what a JavaScript fundamentally provides, so when you will be exploring these frameworks, you will get to know that these are just enhanced uh, or more richer way to achieve what JavaScript is doing basically. But of course, जब आप थोड़ा सा backend side पे चले जाएंगे, तो they are more or less providing the same functionality जो आप किसी भी web uh, a language or framework like ASP.NET or Java, this is what they're going to provide. But of course it has its own way of doing things. And of course with that there are some pros and then there are some cons with that. So and that's
Definitely.
exactly what you should look at when you are picking up some framework or language. So yeah, but these are the things that you will find in the JavaScript ecosystem, from the backend to the front end.
Yeah.
Right. I'm really sorry. Okay, so this question, just give me a minute. Okay, so how can we use JavaScript to make web and server-side applications?
As Fahad Bhai already mentioned, that a lot of frameworks are available that you can use on the client side and the server side, and also you can achieve now server side rendering through JavaScript. Like if you want to use the client side and server side separately, then you can use React, Angular, or Vue.js on the client side. These are mostly popular framework in the market currently, but there are other also you can use them, but mostly these are used. Then if you want to go with the backend, then you have a Next.js, you have an SJS, then normally you are using Node.js along with Express, and all this stuff you can achieve even in server side frameworks, that is Next, Nest, and other one that was mentioned by Fahad.
Okay. So Zahoor, what do you think? What are the ways that can be used to write more efficient and maintainable JavaScript code?
JavaScript code, basically at first rule you have to give the naming convention of your variable that you follow a camel case, and then secondly what names you are giving, it should be what your function or service is gonna do it. Otherwise, definitely if you are using some random name XYZ, it won't make any sense. Then secondly, you have to avoid global variable like you are using var, it should be avoided. Instead, you have to use constant and let. And you have to, understand the scope of the variable. If you use the var, then definitely it is gonna be a global and it can be accessed and reused or updated through anywhere. So avoid this thing. And secondly, your the method or the code that you're writing is solely doing its own function for what it is made or developed or integrated. It should not do multiple stuff. You instead you have to break down the different logic and give the name accordingly and do it. Yeah.
Okay. Uh,
Yeah,
Fahad,
so I just
how
like
can?
to briefly add here. Uh,
Yeah,
Sure,
so
please.
sure.
if again, if you are if any beginner is watching this answer to this question, or who has not much experience in industry, so to them I would say ke, when you are starting learn about the this question can be widely taken not just for the JavaScript but
Yes.
for any language or any framework that you are learning. So basically first start with the official documentations, what do they say about the practices. Then you should also learn the solid principles, so there are five
Yeah.
part of it, and they can be implemented in basically these are the ways to code. And when you are keeping in mind the solid principles, you are writing much better and scalable code. And after that, as you progress in your career and you go to the intermediate or advanced level development, you can learn about different design patterns that are available to solve different types of problem. And then when you are onto any specific framework, तो आप उसकी ऑफिशियल डॉक्यूमेंटेशन जरूर, फॉर एग्जांपल इफ
Yeah.
आई एम वर्किंग ऑन द रिएक्ट, then it's my responsibility कि I see what does the react official documentation and the community is, because these things keep changing every now and then. So you should
Yeah.
catch up with the latest trends. Say what are the things that are coming up, what are the practices that has been changed. Similarly, if you are working with Angular, you will go to find the official documentation. You'll find the community, or there are some people who are more expert or driving this direction. You should
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
what they are recommending every day. So I think this is very important that you learn. You should learn the solid principles, then move on to some design patterns. And you should also always keep the reference of the official documentation and the community standards when you are learning any language, be it JavaScript or any other language as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to add, like if you go for JavaScript framework, so definitely like React started with classes, but now it's coming in the function and they are using different hooks. So if you follow the documentation, then definitely you have to keep yourself updated and the trends that industry is following. Yeah, and this is how you can keep yourself up to date. I think you are mute, please.
Fiza, you are mute.
Oh,
So far, it's going great. I think we can take some of the audience questions.
Yes,
So,
please.
if we start with the first one, this is from Usman Abdullah. A good topic. Finally, we got some engineers on NAVAFIZ platform. Thank you,
Thank
Abdullah.
you.
I think he's talking about the IT people, because overall engineers, yes, we have, but from IT point of view, I think we are having this second session. Before we had one session, life of a IT professional. Then again from Osman Abdullah, the big issue was node version always. So related to this point, Zahoor, you would like to add something?
Like a Node version, definitely JavaScript ecosystem based on Node version and package.json. That what you have the package and its dependency related to the version that you are using the Node.js. At first, if you want to stick the old version of the Node.js and the same dependencies that you already have, in your project, then definitely they are gonna slowly deprecate it. The plugins or the dependency developed by npm or the community, they are not providing the support for deprecated packages forever. So that is the one thing. If you node.js version is changing or some enhancement is coming in different plugins, so definitely you have to keep your application update as well. Then you will find the less issues with node.js and the package.json or building when you are packaging your application. Yeah, this is how you keep yourself updated. It's really annoying sometime, or for the new learners when they don't find their application compatible with node.js version what they are using, and what their system configuration, this should be actually matched, or you have to look what compatibility that your system is being used and what the application is using the node version and what dependency. So these you have to sync, then you have to run your application. Definitely it will work. But the main thing, if you keep yourself update, you will having less these kind of issues.
Okay. And I think one of the major issues why this happens is, or like how you can minimize or avoid the situation is, when you are
Yeah.
selecting a package or a library to use in your Node.js application, you just not do like look out for certain functionality, and if you see if it's available in any package, you just instantly use it. But you must
Yeah.
also do some things like search for its issues. You can see if that library is being maintained or not, if there has been any active development going on in the library or not. So this is a very important. You must always check wherever you are using a third party or a public library. You must always check its current list of issues, a current list of PR requests. That will give you a very fair idea, like if it's just a dead library, like someone created as a part-time hobby and now it's वो ऐसे ही पड़ी हुई है, or it's an active library where you have audience and followers and stars. So keep these metrics in consideration whenever you are picking up a certain library or framework. So when this times come when you have to upgrade or downgrade your application, so it will be a less hassle, because if it's an actively maintained library, just like you are upgrading your application, those libraries and packages maintainers also upgrade or downgrade their versions with whenever the newer versions are coming along with the Node.js. So this is one way you can avoid or minimize this situation. And another is you don't wait for too long to upgrade your applications. For example, if a node version comes up, so you should start thinking in terms of you need to migrate your application. Don't wait too long until there's a second or third newer versions, because जब आप दो या तीन steps jump करेंगे तो it will be much harder, instead if you're doing a single version upgrades.
Yeah, and I would like to add, like if you are using different dependencies, like if you use for PDF, that is puppeteer or HTML PDF converter, then you have to do comparison of it. That what kind of overhead that is being added to our application, instead which version, that which plugin we are going to use it. Yeah, definitely that Fahad by mention all these things you have to look into taking that dependency into your application.
Right. So I think this question, what Usman is asking in further detail, is already covered in your answer.
Yeah.
Like one application built with lower version or year ago, after 1 year, when you try to run another app, another laptop that using new version of Node, is it gets lot errors, and sometimes we are not able to downgrade.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm
I
not
think,
into technical, but I
yeah.
think you have answered this, right?
So one part of it we already answered, like how you
Yeah,
can minimize this issue, and another part is if you are facing issues running the applications on different systems. So one very common solution out there today is the Dockerization or containerization. So
yeah.
if you do that, तो आपके पास at least वो issues नहीं आएंगे कि it's running on my system, but it's not running on somebody else's system. So Dockerization is a very common solution to that.
Yeah, it also happens like the application that is using the lower version of Node.js and your system configuration, or you have installed some upgrade version of Node.js. So if you make the Docker of that one the same version Node.js that is used by application in the Docker, then definitely it will solve your problem.
Right. Now, next we have question from Nazish Ali. What are the challenges still JavaScript facing, or what other wonders is coming by JavaScript? I think this question is part of our planned
Yes,
question also, what we
yes,
have
yes,
Yeah.
we do
scheduled.
have the question.
So, if I think we can answer it now,
Yeah.
and then we can skip it from our plan.
Okay.
Yes.
So, can I start?
Yeah,
Yes,
please.
please.
Okay. Okay. So, I think the best thing to happen with JavaScript in recent years is the introduction of TypeScript. So,
Yeah.
a lot of shortcomings of JavaScript, and specifically for people who are coming from the background of like who have worked on frameworks like .NET or Java, basically the strongly typed
Type
or
languages.
yeah, or statically typed languages of framework, they would find JavaScript very cumbersome, and they'd see the code and they say what is this spaghetti code. But with the introduction of TypeScript, I think that is the best thing to happen. I would say even in the last decade with the
Yeah.
JavaScript. Now you get all the awesome and cool object-oriented concepts there. You have the proper classes, and now the code readability and structuring is exceptionally well with the introduction of
Yeah,
TypeScript.
same thing that sorry I interrupted you. Same thing that you have in Java or other languages. Same concept like interfaces, classes, and all enums you can use here. And it is also superset of JavaScript. So you don't need to learn a new language or new version of JavaScript. It's ask my if somebody knows, and slowly they can upgrade to. It's basically superset of JavaScript and with all the concept of other languages.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, that's right.
That's
अगर
all.
आप कुछ
Okay.
और ऐड करना चाहें तो प्लीज.
Honey, I think, and if we take it to the like server side part of the JavaScript,
Yeah,
uh, specifically talking about Node or Dino, so those are all single-threaded frameworks. So there is some constraint जहाँ पे there are some issues like constraints and कुछ optimization like some I would say के putting up like जहाँ पे issues हैं slowing down के और concurrency के. So that part of the backend part of JavaScript is being worked very aggressively कि like how to achieve that level of optimization and scalability जो आपके पास उन frameworks और उन languages में available है जो पिछले 20-30 years से available हैं. They are the masters
like
of it.
multi-threading languages.
Yeah, exactly. Things like that, just to make that whole experience that efficient, which is like available in the other specific to this languages and libraries and frameworks. So this is one part where very aggressive developments have been happening, and with every node version or any other runtime coming up, this is the very
Yeah.
specific area they are looking upon to, because distributed computing and all of those things, you need very powerful and enriched server-side languages or frameworks. So this is one part also where very aggressive development is happening in JavaScript.
Right. Next, from Nazish Ali, he's asking how JavaScript is helping in machine learning also, and data analysis also.
Yeah, Fahad bhai, please. You have a bit knowledge about
Yeah.
architect.
Yeah, so if let's talk about the data analysis first. So जब भी आप data analysis कर रहे होते हैं, one of the most important thing of it is the visualization, or whenever comes the visualization in the browser. you could even say that it's almost nearly next to impossible to do it without the JavaScript. So previously there were some tools specific to this. For example, अगर आप Power BI की बात करें or different tools, so that sort of rich dashboards were not possible within the browser due to a lot of reasons. Browsers were not that powerful. Your data, the data coming up from the server side and going back, that used to be huge. But now the internet speed not being an issue, the browsers being very computationally fast, and JavaScript being very enriched, so you can perform all sort of data analysis operations on your browser as well, all sort of dashboards and interactivity, and just like there was a question as well, हम कैसे interactive कर सकते हैं. So these dashboards are not just view only dashboards now. They are like very interactive dashboards with lots of, when I'm saying lots of data, I mean the millions of points, and your browser is now
All
do this thing
sorts of
very
data computation and manipulation can be
computation.
done in JavaScript now.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, we are not at this point where we say it can do exactly the same as running natively on the machine about the browser. But you will see in the coming years the way the browser is picking up. Eventually,
Yeah.
there would be hardly any difference between if you're trying to do any computation expensive application natively on your system, or you are running it in the browser. So about the data analysis, about the machine learning, there are a few libraries available, but I think Python is still the you could say the first choice for that. But if we talk about TensorFlow, and we just talk about ChatGPT is very much in these days. So all of these machine learning, you can say libraries of frameworks or models, all of them have their integration capacity with the JavaScript. Either you are doing it on the back end, on it on or on the front end, और इसकी एक बेसिक वजह यही है क्योंकि because JavaScript is one of the most widely adopted and most widely used. So these frameworks, be it machine learning or data science or blockchain, they try to out of the box provide these integrations, so the user does not have to become constrained for them. So yeah, I think this is because of the power of the JavaScript.
Yeah.
राइट तो ये जो चैट जीपीटी है ये भी जावास्क्रिप्ट बेस्ड है
No, it's not JavaScript based.
Oh.
Not at all.
सो
Yeah,
तो
so
उसका
हाँ, so it's like the integrations के for example आपकी कोई application है where you want to connect the chat GPT with it, like a lot of people are creating a lot of extensions and all of those things, so that can only become possible if certain, for example, chat GPT provides some integration, a way to integrate it with the JavaScript applications. So they usually do, but there are a lot of other frameworks and libraries as well जिसके साथ उन्होंने शायद provide नहीं की होगी. It's because the need of the market. So just because JavaScript is so widely consumed, you would eventually, जैसी कोई नई चीज आएगी, it's become big, you will eventually find a way to integrate it with your JavaScript libraries or framework. But ChatGPT is not. It's a ML model, so I'm not exactly sure what it's created on, but my first guess would be it would be on the Python.
राइट अच्छा ये सोहेब हसन है ही इज अ लिंक्डइन इन्फ्लुएंसर इनकी तरफ से एक कमेंट है बट आई एम नॉट एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड इट क्योंकि आई एम नॉट मच इनटू टेक्निकल तो ये क्या इन्होंने जावास्क्रिप्ट लैंग्वेज में कुछ लिखने की कोशिश की है या कैन यू अंडरस्टैंड दिस और यू कैन ट्रांसलेट
Yeah,
दिस
yeah.
एनीवन ऑफ
I
यू
think yeah. I think he has tried to give us some good remarks on that. That it's a
Yeah.
great session, and we'll keep up the good work.
राइट राइट
वो
थैंक यू
कंसोल करना चाह रहे हैं कि आप एक अच्छा सेशन मैनेजमेंट कर रहे हैं. That's it. Yeah.
नहीं बट उनका जो राइटिंग स्टाइल
Appreciation.
था राइटिंग स्टाइल में क्या इज इट समथिंग रेलेवेंट टू जावास्क्रिप्ट और नो दैट इज
एक
जस्ट जनरल
सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपर है, वो अपने कमेंट्स ऐसे ही देगा.
Yeah.
राइट राइट
Yes.
It's a code basically, JavaScript code.
या
Yeah.
वो क्योंकि जैसे ये कंसोल डॉट लॉग लिखा हुआ
ये
है
उसका
कंसोल
मतलब भी
डॉट
बता रहे हैं
लॉग
ना जो इन्होंने अभी दिया. इस
राइट
समथिंग
राइट
सेम was saying.
थैंक यू वेरी मच सोहेब हसन
Thank you.
देन वी हैव कमेंट फ्रॉम नादिश वेल सेड एट शोएब हाँ शोएब की के कमेंट को नादिश जो है वो सेलिब्रेट कर रहे हैं एंड दैट्स सेलिब्रेशन फ्रॉम Sohaib. So going back to our question, I think we were on question number 8 now. So
Yes, we have a very
over to
few
you, Fiza.
questions left now. Let's get back to the questions. Okay, so I think this question was from Fahad. So, Fahad, how can we use JavaScript to handle events and user input?
Yeah, I think because its answer would be कि हम quote करके देख सकते हैं उसको, but obviously this is not possible in this session. So I would say कि you just go to the w3schools.com और जैसे ही आप कोई most basic or most fundamental tutorial pick up करेंगे JavaScript के लिए, this is what you are going to find there, like how to interact with your DOM and your elements and all of that.
Yeah, like mouse events, screen, Windows page loading event, that form events, or these can be handled with the JavaScript.
Right. Okay, so since this is the last question, so I would really like if you both answer these questions, Fahad and Zahoor. So, how can JavaScript be used to handle asynchronous operations?
Yeah, like I would start JavaScript have a different, pattern to handle async operation. Like we can use callback, we can use promises, and now is the newer version of that one is async await. It's basically wrapper, but now it's mostly used async await, like any function that is gonna handle some expensive computation, then definitely you have control have to wait for a long time, so we use async await. Yeah, callback and the promises are also mostly using, like if you are gonna handle with the callback any function that you're calling, and when it is finished then you have to call the next function on the finishing of the first one. And if you go for the promises, you have to create a promise, then you have to fulfill it, and through that you can handle, if it is fulfilled you can give some information what you want to return, or you can call some other function, or you can handle if it is promise is not fulfilled, then you can give error message. And if you go for async await, so definitely when the function is async, any function inside any computation you want to do it, like reading from database, or doing some reading from apis, then definitely you will do it. And after that you can, but you have to put or wrap this thing in a try and catch block, so exception handling can also be done. फहद भाई कुछ ऐड करना चाहें तो प्लीज.
I think promises is the answer to that. Mostly जब भी कोई async operation होता है, be it fetching
Yes.
the data from the API server, or waiting for any user interaction, waiting for the query to being executed. So you can do that with the promises. And then, just like Zahoor mentioned, there are multiple ways to basically,
Yeah,
write the
handle it.
promises. You can just do promise chaining with dot then, or you can use async await. And also these days we have this new reactive extensions, like if you'll find out ngrx, or just like we have reactive
Yes.
extensions just like like in Java or any other languages. So reactive extensions are also available in JavaScript now, inspired by these extensions. So this is also what provide things like providing the asynchronous operations. Then whenever there is जब कोई asynchronous operation की need होती है, तो there are some things you need to provide, some data manipulations before it's like a stream, like a pipeline. So all of those things you can find within the scope of the reactive extensions of JavaScript as well. But yeah, the answer to that is the promises. Promises is how, be it either on the UI or either on the backend, JavaScript is basically being able to perform the asynchronous
Yes.
operations. And there is
Right.
whole concept to that of the event loop and the call stack, because by nature JavaScript is, or the backend framework for it, node is synchronous. So there is whole study of it, how it makes it possible to perform these asynchronous operations with the help of all of these amazing code, of course, these people have done with the help of event loops and call stacks and queues. So all of these things combined make it happen, the asynchronous code in JavaScript.
Yeah.
Oh, so that was it for the questions we had. I would really like to thank Zahoor and Fahad for coming here and taking time out of your busy schedules and answering our questions. It really helped us to understand the JavaScript, its frameworks. Also, we did get awareness about the scope, and it was, I think, overall a really helpful session. So, thank you so much to you too.
Before we say goodbye, although question number 10 we have already covered, but if there is anything you want to add up, plus we have few more comments. So that is, I think, just between Sohaib Hassan, welcome Liaquat Bhai, and Nazish Ali. Some about blockchain with JavaScript. So, any one of you, if you can put some light on the blockchain.
Yeah, I think the answer to that is very similar to the one we did for the machine learning or the data sciences. But I think for blockchain it's a little bit better because there are some ledgers and blockchain pipelines that people are writing in the JavaScript. So I think the adoption rate, just like for the machine learning, we have the Python. So the blockchain part is not has heavily impacted by any other
Yeah, but still
language.
you can do implementation and make,
Yeah,
the your contracts with the
yeah,
React JS, and they have some
yeah.
packages
Solidity.
if you
Yeah.
want to do with JavaScript.
Yeah. So there are like Zahoor just mentioned, it's a very good point. So I think the React team is specifically has provided this. If I might be wrong with the name, but it's either Solidity JS, which
Yes,
is
Solidity.
Solidity. So this is very specific to performing these blockchain related stuff. And just like other domains, अभी भी जितने भी famous uh, blockchain ecosystems, and if we talk about the fabric,
Rust.
or if we talk about the Ethereum, so they all provide the integrations with the JavaScript ecosystem, and of course then you can create your own with Solidity or any other framework, the blockchain specific development. So I think it's more richer. Machine learning या data science वाले part में you will have a limited capacity with JavaScript because it's more heavily influenced with Python. But I think the blockchain part is widely open, and the integrations part and the development part you can both do with the JavaScript.
Yeah.
Right, excellent. Moving toward the end of program, I would like to ask कि जो एक तो वो कैंडिडेट्स जो अभी लेट्स से मैट्रिक कर रहे हैं और सोच रहे हैं कि किस फील्ड में जाएं, और लेट्स से कि उनको सोसाइटी कह रही है कि आप आईटी में जाएं, या उनका अपना दिल कह रहा है कि हम आईटी में जाएं, तो आपके लिए, आपकी तरफ से उनके लिए क्या मशवरा है? ओवर टू यू जोर भाई.
यस, मेरे ख्याल में जो भी बच्चे अब मैट्रिक से आ रहे हैं, बेसिकली तो मेरा कॉन्सेप्ट ये है कि आपने किसी को फोर्स नहीं करना है, कि अगर उसका दिल नहीं कर रहा, उसका माइंड नहीं है एक चीज़ करने में, अगर आप वो डॉक्टर नहीं बनना चाहता है, तो हम बाई फोर्स उसे कभी भी डॉक्टर नहीं बना सकते जब तक कि उस बच्चे की अपनी दिलचस्पी ना हो। और जब आप किसी चीज़ में दिलचस्पी लेते हैं तो उसको फिर क्रेज की हद तक करें ताकि आप उसमें सक्सेसफुल हो सके। ये नहीं है कि आप थोड़ा सा काम किया, उसके बाद मुश्किल आई तो फिर आपने छोड़ दिया। ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए। और जावास्क्रिप्ट जो बेसिकली है HTML CSS, और जावास्क्रिप्ट तो नॉर्मली जो भी वेब डेवलपमेंट स्टार्ट करते हैं उसको सीखनी होती है। तो जैसे ही अगर आप जावास्क्रिप्ट में काम करना शुरू करते हैं तो आप उसको थोड़ा सा डीपली अंडरस्टैंड करें और फिर उसके फ्रेमवर्क में जाएं। ये नहीं है कि सारे ही सीखने आपने, सिर्फ एक फ्रेमवर्क ले लें जो भी आपको इंटरेस्टिंग लगे। बेसिकली सब जब आप सीख जाएंगे, कोई एक भी फ्रेमवर्क अगर आपको आ जाएगा प्रॉपरली, आप उसकी इम्प्लीमेंटेशन टेम्पलेट ले लें, उसका कंपोनेंट ले लें, उसकी हुक ले लें और उसका स्टेट मैनेजमेंट एप्लीकेशन की जब समझ लेंगे तो आपको यही समझ आएगा कि ये सारे फ्रेमवर्क बेसिकली एक ही तरह काम करते हैं। तो ये नहीं माइंड में रखना कि हमने सब कुछ ही सीखना है। किसी एक फ्रेमवर्क को ले लें, उस पे सारे मतलब अपने कॉन्सेप्ट वगैरह जो भी क्वेश्चन है आपके उसको देखें, पहले उनको अंडरस्टैंड करें। बेसिकली जो काम है वो अंडरस्टैंडिंग सोच है। कंप्यूटर में तो रट्टा वैसे कम चलता है, मतलब है आपने अंडरस्टैंडिंग करनी है कि ये फ्रेमवर्क काम कैसे करता है, आपने थिंकिंग अपनी उसके मुताबिक बनानी है। तो फिर आपको जावास्क्रिप्ट में आई डोंट थिंक सो कि कुछ ऐसा मुश्किल काम है जो आप नहीं कर सकते हैं। इतनी ज़्यादा
राइट।
कम्युनिटी अवेलेबल है, इतनी ज़्यादा डॉक्यूमेंटेशन अवेलेबल है। किसी एक फ्रेमवर्क को लें और उसको थारोली करें और उसको एंड तक करें, फिर आपको कुछ मुश्किल नहीं लगेगा मेरे ख्याल में। और ये इजी है कि आप अपनी जो जॉब है उसमें भी सक्सेसफुल हो सकते हैं और अपना एक कैरियर बना सकते हैं। अगर फाहद भाई ऐड करना चाहते हैं कुछ, प्लीज।
आई थिंक इस अगर हम बात करें स्पेसिफिकली उन स्टूडेंट्स की जो अभी मेट्रिकुलेशन लेवल पे हैं, तो आई थिंक किसी भी चीज़ को डिसाइड करने का तरीका कि यू वांट टू डू इट और यू डोंट वांट टू डू इट, वो आई थिंक यही है कि आप उसको थोड़ा सा करके देखें और उसके बाद देखेंगे आपको कैसा लगता है। तो फॉर एग्जांपल जो स्टूडेंट अभी मेट्रिकुलेशन में है, वो थोड़ा सा अगर पीछे देखे कि उसके कंप्यूटर कोर्सेज में अगर उसको एक इंटरेस्ट डेवलप हुआ है या नहीं हुआ, या फॉर एग्जांपल अब इंटरनेट पे देयर आर लॉट्स ऑफ रिसोर्सेज अवेलेबल, तो फाइंड आउट जो सबसे फंडामेंटल और जो सबसे बेसिक कोर्स अवेलेबल है उसको करने की कोशिश करें। एंड इफ दे फाइंड देम एक्साइटिंग और उनको लगता है ये करके मज़ा आ रहा है, अच्छा लग रहा है और इट्स देयर हैज़ अ वाव फैक्टर इन देम, तो वो उसको परस्यू करें। तो मैं इसकी एग्जांपल एक ऐसे भी दे सकता हूँ कि वी सी द एरोप्लेन्स फ्लाइंग एवरी टाइम, बट किसी को देख के समवन वुड से वाओ, ये मतलब उसको एक क्वेश्चन आ सकता है कि हाउ इज इट डूइंग, कैसे ये पॉसिबल है कि इतनी बड़ी चीज हवा में उड़ रही है, बट फॉर समबडी इट वोंट बी अ पॉइंट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट। सो दैट यू हैव टू फाइंड आउट। तो आप उसके लिए थोड़ा सा हैंड्स ऑन करके देखें, आप थोड़ा सा सर्च करें कि क्या एप्लीकेशंस है इसकी, क्या व्हाट आर द हैपनिंग्स बिकॉज ऑफ द कंप्यूटर साइंसेस। तो अगर वो आपको एक्साइट करती हैं, तो देन यू फाइंड आउट कि उसके लिए क्या रिक्वायरमेंट है। फॉर एग्जांपल प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग है या मैथमेटिक्स है, अगर वो चीज़ें आपकी अच्छी हैं और वो एप्लीकेशंस आपको एक्साइट भी करती हैं, तो यू मस्ट डू दिस थिंग। बट अगर आपको एक्साइट वो नहीं कर रही, आपको मैथमेटिक्स में या प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग में या जो थोड़ी सी टेक्निकल रिलेटेड चीज़ें होती हैं उसमें मज़ा नहीं आता, तो फिर अगर आप करेंगे भी तो कर तो लेंगे। जब कोई भी एक उसमें प्रोसेस में एंटर होता है तो दे इवेंचुअली मेक इट, बट आपको उस तरह से मज़ा नहीं आएगा। तो आई थिंक द वे टू गो अहेड इज कि आप सबसे बेसिक एक कोई ट्यूटोरियल या जावास्क्रिप्ट का ही फाइंड करें। और बिकॉज जावास्क्रिप्ट को चलाना सबसे इजी है, आपको जिस ब्राउजर चाहिए एंड यू कैन जस्ट गो टू कंसोल एंड राइट इंस्टेंटली स्टार्ट राइटिंग कोड। आपको कोई इंस्टॉलेशन नहीं करनी, कुछ नहीं करनी। तो सबसे बेसिक जावास्क्रिप्ट का फ्रेमवर्क फाइंड करें एंड उसको बिल्कुल हो सकता है जैसे ही आप उसको स्टार्ट करें यू विल फाइंड इट डिफिकल्ट एंड यू फील द अर्ज कि यार मैं छोड़ देता हूँ, ये तो इट्स नॉट फॉर मी। बट आप उसको दें एटलीस्ट, गिव इट अ गो फॉर अ वीक और फॉर अ मंथ, और उसके बाद यू कैन डिसाइड कि ये मेरे लिए है या ये मेरे लिए नहीं है।
एंड ट्राई टू डेवलप अ स्मॉल एप्लीकेशन इन इट। और जब आप उसको समझ आएगी, उसका फ्लो और उसका लाइफ साइकिल समझ आएगा, देन यू विल स्टार्ट एंजॉयिंग इट।
राइट। अब हम बात करेंगे उन लोगों की जो ऑलरेडी कैरियर में है, जिनको 2-3 साल का एक्सपीरियंस हो चुका है और अब वो चाहते हैं कि जी हम कैसे ग्रो करें। तो उनके लिए क्या टिप्स एंड ट्रिक्स हैं आपके पास?
ओके, आई थिंक मैं इसको पहले से कर देता हूँ।
Yes.
तो आई थिंक जब हमने शायद टॉक में एक दफ़ा डिस्कस भी किया, बट जैसे ही आप प्रोग्रेस कर रहे होते हैं इनटू योर कैरियर, सो अभी वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट स्टार्टिंग विद द जावास्क्रिप्ट और ब्राउज़र, और so this you can say is the very base level of information and technical details. जब आप कैरियर में प्रोग्रेस कर रहे होते हैं तो यू आर बिल्डिंग अपॉन दिस, और इसकी रिक्वायरमेंट्स आर बिजनेस ड्रिवन। तो आपको सिर्फ टेक्निकल डिटेल्स और उन चीज़ों में ग्रो नहीं करना, यू हैव टू ग्रो इन योर माइंडसेट एज वेल, कि एक जो सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियरिंग का माइंडसेट है। तो जब आप कोई एप्लीकेशन बना रहे होते हैं तो जो मोस्टली हम टॉक्स में या सेशंस में देखते हैं, दे आर वेरी सिंपलर वन, बट जब आप रियल लाइफ में अपनी प्रोफेशनल लाइफ में जाते हैं तो दीज एप्लीकेशंस दे आर सॉल्विंग सम प्रॉब्लम, दे आर डूइंग सम बिजनेस, तो वो इतनी सिंपल नहीं होती, दे हैव देयर कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी, उसके इश्यूज होते हैं। तो आपको जस्ट फ्रेमवर्क और लैंग्वेजेस के डोमेन में नहीं सोचना, यू हैव टू build your mindset in the business domain, in the technical details as well। और फिर जब आप उस दो चीज़ों को कनेक्ट करेंगे, so this is what a difference between a fresh software engineer and a professional software engineer, कि how though they link उनकी जो mindset है, it is not restricted to framework or JavaScript। For example, there might come a scenario जो कि JavaScript में करना possible नहीं है, so what would you do? You would leave it, but that's where your experience come and you will find out how other frameworks are doing, क्या आप वो functionality यहाँ पे लेके आ सकते हैं, और even you can even port your application out onto some other framework or application. So these are the decisions that you might need to take as you progress in your career. So you have to build the software engineering, we call it the engineering mindset. So the language or framework is a small part of it. So you have to build on all of those things, the technical details, the design patterns, the business logics. तो वो सब चीजें जब आप grow करेंगे, so that's what in fact in the later part on in the mid part on the or the later part of your professional careers, this is more you are going to interact with solving problem with rather than being hands on with things like जो हमने अभी बात करी interactivity or adding all of those things. तो वो आप करके ही build up करेंगे, but the mostly chances are कि at one point you are going to making some decisions and somebody else is going to perform these actions as well. So yeah, you have to grow with the mindset. That would be my answer. The software
राइट,
engineering mindset.
राइट जी। जोर भाई, आप कुछ ऐड करना चाहेंगे इसमें?
जी, लाइक फाद भाई ने बोला कि आप जब चीज़ों को कनेक्ट करते हैं तो तभी आप जो है अपनी कामयाबी की सीढ़ी चढ़ते हैं। ऐसे नहीं है कि मतलब आपने थोड़ा सा काम किया है उसके बाद आप लोग बोर्ड हो गए हैं, थक गए हैं, दैट्स इट। इस तरह नहीं होता। जब आप लंबे अरसे तक एक ही चीज़ में काम करते हैं, आपने जो स्टडी किया है थ्योरी इन द यूनिवर्सिटी, वी जस्ट स्टडी द थ्योरी, वी डोंट डू द प्रैक्टिकल। प्रैक्टिकल जब आप करते हैं फिर उसको देखते हैं, हाँ ये हमने जब अप्लाई किया है तो एक चीज़ को जब हमने लाइक डिवाइड एंड कन्क्वर किया है तो ये इजीली सॉल्व हो गया है, कि बजाय हमें ब्रूट फोर्स करके एक चीज़ को बार बार नहीं हो रहा है। तो क्या है वो डिफरेंट माइंडसेट और इंजीनियरिंग के कॉन्सेप्ट यूज़ किए आपने, तो आपको पता चला कि आप सक्सेसफुल हो गए हैं। तो दैट्स हाउ कि आप डिफरेंट प्रोजेक्ट करते हैं, डिफरेंट फील्ड्स में काम करते हैं, जब उनको कनेक्ट करते हैं तो तभी मेच्योरिटी आती है। और मेच्योरिटी के लिए आपको वेट करना पड़ेगा, इट्स नॉट ओवरनाइट यू कैन बी ए मैच्योर, but you have to polish yourself slowly slowly, then definitely you can grow.
Right, right. So I would like to say thank to both of you. It was really really great session और बहुत informative session था. और I would just like to announce that this was our comments of the day, comment of the day.
Yes,
जो really topic से
Prabhasam.
relevant भी था, and it was also motivating also. टेक्निकल क्वेश्चंस भी थे। एट द एंड आई वुड लाइक कि आपकी तरफ से क्लोजिंग रिमार्क्स इन जर्नल हमारे प्रॉम के बारे में या जावास्क्रिप्ट के बारे में या किसी भी हवाले से अगर आप कुछ भी कहना चाहें बिफोर वी से गुड बाय टू आवर ऑडियंस, आपकी तरफ से एक एक लाइन। फर्स्ट आई वुड गो टू शाहफाद।
Yeah, first I would also like to thank to you कि आपने एक platform create किया which is basically this is passing out the knowledge and creating more awareness in the community. We call it the community, and yeah, I think and one very good thing is कि internet पे information available है, in fact it's overflowing. So just go out and explore things and find out what do you like and just keep to it.
राइट, थैंक यू जी। जहूर भाई।
थैंक यू वेरी मच, आपने मौका दिया। और दूसरा ये है कि पाकिस्तान में स्पेशली जो कैरियर बिल्डिंग है वो नहीं है टोटली, और जो भी स्टूडेंट हमारे मैट्रिक या इंटरमीडिएट से फारिग होते हैं तो डेफिनेटली देर इज़ नो वन टू गाइड देम कि आपको कहाँ जाना चाहिए। अगर आपका आईटी में इंटरेस्ट है तो जावास्क्रिप्ट और ये बेसिक चीज़ें जो है आपने अंडरस्टैंड करनी है। विद इन 3 to 6 month यू कैन ग्रैब अ जूनियर लेवल जॉब। बहुत से इदारे भी हैं, अगर वो भी नहीं है, बट नाउ इंटरनेट कैन प्रोवाइड यू एवरीथिंग एट योर डोर स्टेप। आप उसमें फ्रीलांसिंग कर सकते हैं, देन यू कैन ग्रो स्लोली स्लोली। अगर आपके पास जॉब आ गई है, एक इनकम सोर्स आ गया है, तो आपकी स्ट्रेस लेवल जो है वो कम हो जाएगी। तो फिर डेफिनेटली अगर आप चाहते हैं किसी के साथ कंटिन्यू करें, आपको मज़ा आ रहा है, या आप चाहते हैं कि आप दूसरी लैंग्वेजेस के साथ भी इंटरेक्ट करना चाहते हैं, बट आई वुड सजेस्ट कि आईटी इतनी ज़्यादा वसी है, आपने पहले ये देखना है कि मैंने काम क्या करना है। अगर मैंने वेब डेवलपर करना है, अगर मैंने मोबाइल ऐप्स करनी है, या कुछ ऐसा शोबा जाना है जहाँ पर जावास्क्रिप्ट इन्वॉल्व नहीं है, या जो काम आप कर रहे हैं वो नहीं है, तो देन गो फॉर इट। अदरवाइज इधर देखें, कुछ सम पीपल जो हैं वो जावा देखते हैं, पाइथन भी देख लेते हैं, कुछ थोड़ा सा HTML भी देख लेते हैं, तो क्या होता है, दे आर नो वेयर एल्स, वो कुछ भी नहीं कर पाते। at the end they just wasted their time. तो आपने एक ही काम करना है, एक ही फ्रेमवर्क को लेना है, उसमें ग्रो करें. When you are stable, when you are having ability to make a decision, okay, now you can go for something else also, then you can do it.
Right. Excellent. Excellent. And with this note, I would say thank you to our audience also. Thank you for interactive session. Thanks for question and answer also. It was very interesting. और इंशाल्लाह हम नेक्स्ट सेशन प्लान करेंगे इधर रिलेवेंट टू आईटी. अगर आप चाहते हैं कि हम किसी स्पेसिफिक टॉपिक पे करें तो आप हमें कमेंट्स कर सकते हैं. वी विल प्लान अ सेशन अकॉर्डिंगली बेस्ड ऑन योर requirements. In other way, we will be keep looking for more career advice also and other tips also. So once again, thank you very much. Take care and Allah Hafiz.
Thank you all.